I think he asked Big Bill Brunsey. He says, Big Bill, that blues music you play, you call that folk music? And Big Bill says, well, I've never heard no horses sing none of it. I told you not to mention wild folk dancing.
From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, to the beautiful flowing mountains south of Baltimore. She's mighty tall and handsome, she's quite well known by all. It's a modern combination of the Wabash Cannonball. Can't you hear the jingle, rumble and the roar? She's rolling through the mountains and along the river shore. Mighty rushing of the engine, the lonesome hobo squall, running through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Play the fiddle.
Oh, she came down to Birmingham one cold December day. As she pulled into that station, you could hear those people say, she's a gal from Tennessee, she's long and she's tall. She came home to Birmingham on Wabash Cannonball. Oh, listen to the jingle, rumble and the roar.
She's rolling through the mountains and along the river shore. Hear the mighty rushing of the engine and lonesome hobos call.
Traveling through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball.
Play that banjo. Crawbuck's made his name forever stand. He longs to be remembered, cause he's known throughout this land. His earthly race is over, curtain round him fall. He's going back to Dixie on the Wabash Cannonball. Now can't you hear the jingle, rumble and the roar? She's rolling through the mountains and along the river shore. Mighty rushing of the engine, the lonesome hobo squall, running through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball. Running through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball.
Hi everybody, welcome to Horses Sing None of It. Here today we have Mike Terris with us and Ralph Litwin's co-host. I'm Lou Gelfond, just to introduce who we are today. And Mike is a banjo maker extraordinaire and a picker with Buffalo Hollow String Band. Also, he's made a number of different instruments, and they're all quite special. That's why we have him on today. Let's talk about your instruments and show a little bit about the care you've taken in doing all of the inlay work and really pretty stuff that you've got.
This banjo that I'm holding here is a simpler one of the ones that I've made. Simple meaning that I've, what would you call it? I didn't go overboard on ornamentation. I was more concerned with tone, with sound. What do you call it? Elegant simplicity, I think, is the term that you look for
Well, you've made that banjo.
in wood or in anything for that matter. Any form of art, you look for elegant simplicity.
What during the day do you do for a living?
What do I do for a living? As little as I
As
possibly
little as
I'd rather be fishing. As a matter of fact, today, they opened the stream today, as a matter of fact.
They open the street. But
I do technical artwork. Commercial photography, well, I don't do photography anymore. I do retouching, photographic retouching. It's not fun, but it pays the bills. And it supports the instrument making.
You've got some other instruments over here too. A guitar that you've made, and also a mandolin. The mandolin I've been quite fond of. Mike's only made one mandolin, but what a mandolin. Wow. Is that great sound, may I?
You certainly may.
I might try playing this a little bit. But what are you make more banjos than anything else?
I make banjos more than guitars because I like working with it. I like the shape of the neck, where the fifth string comes in, as Ralph will know. That fifth string, I don't know, somehow it just adds something extra to the instrument. This little corner in there, so to speak. On many factory-made instruments, they shape this differently. They just round it off. I like to put a little extra sculpture in there. Here, I'll show you the back. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a little bit of a sculpture right in here. And I enjoy doing that. I enjoy things with a challenge to it. Now here, let me show you the back again. The wood on this is a walnut. This is not stained. This is natural walnut. And it's difficult to work because being figured as it is has a tendency to warp and twist. So to prevent it from warping and twisting and to put all this work into it, I don't know, it's a challenge to have it come out good when you're done. So you search for perfection. Sometimes you reach it, sometimes you don't.
Let's see if we can play another tune here. I think you had a Grandfather's Clock up your sleeve.
Yeah, let's try that one in G.
I'll try a little on mandolin, maybe switch to fiddle on
Okay.
this.
I'll set the tempo.
that's a bluegrass style of banjo picking, and it's hard to know whether the person watching is really all informed about different styles of banjo playing. Because we had a fellow on Foster Noble who was playing with a pick, a 4-string banjo, plectrum style, and I think Mike is the first. Is Mike the first bluegrass banjo player we've had on? I think.
Pretty much, I think so. What makes it this bluegrass? Is it the flat picks or not the flat picks? Thumb pick, finger picks?
Right, there's 3 picks, 2 finger picks and a thumb pick.
So give
And
us some of
they're
the banjo
played-
roll. The rolls.
Right, it's a roll, it's done, and there's as many different ways of playing, there's as many different rolls as there are people. There's no really correct way. Basically, that's your forward roll, or a section of the forward roll, and your songs are basically made out of putting forward rolls together. Or starting with a different finger. Or a different finger yet. And you string them all together into a tune. Oops.
Can we do some Cripple Creek together here?
Cripple Creek, sure. That's
Play
an A.
with that little A or G, whichever you.
Can you do it in G? I
Sure.
think I'd rather do it in A
is
because
fine.
I'm more used to that key. Let me put my capo on.
You play with some of the people out in Hunterdon County in the Buffalo Hollow String Band. You know, 'cause through the folk exchange, I know some of
Right.
those people. And
You wanted to know who they are, their names?
sure.
Why not?
So we have Cyril Lapinto, who plays lead guitar and sings. Lives out now in, where does he live?
Out yonder.
Out yonder. He's almost in Pennsylvania. Almost as far west as you could go and still be in New Jersey.
Ciro's an interesting guy. I met
He's a
him
great guy.
at the first harmonic convergence here in Morristown area, and he's got, I guess, some Native American blood in him, and he carves Kachina dolls. He's a real interesting character. We ought to have. Do you know Ciro?
Mm-hmm. I know,
Yeah,
sure.
we ought to have him on the show sometime too.
He did, good guy. And I play banjo, I play guitar, a little bit of mandolin. Of course, I'm not going to play mandolin after Lou played it. I will not pick up the mandolin.
And who else is in the band?
We have Bill Huber, who plays fiddle. He's an
Oh, well,
old-time
we know
fiddle
Bill.
player, and you know Bill.
Sure.
And you know Bill also. And he plays an excellent fiddle with our group. And we have Chuck Winch, who plays banjo, mandolin, and guitar also. He lives out in Highbridge. And Bob Neal is our bass player. Excellent singer. And he could sing. He has the voice that makes you jealous because he could sing bass, he could sing treble, or alto, I guess you would call that, soprano. He could sing any scale or any
Wow.
level, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
with equal ease. And he's very good. He's from Clifton. And together we make up the Buffalo Hollow Bluegrass Band. And we have a lot of fun playing. Because as you know, you don't make any money at it, so you might as well have fun at it.
Yeah.
Let's do this Cripple Creek.
Okay. You want to kick it off?
Sure. Big fly banjo. Well, I got a gal at the head of the creek. I go up and see her about 2 times a week. Kiss her on the mouth, as sweet as any wine. Wrap yourself around me like a sweet potato vine.
Going up Crip Creek, going out a run, going up Crip Creek, have some fun. Going up Crip Creek, going out a whirl, going up Crip Creek, see my girl. Well, Crip Creek's wide and Crip Creek's deep.
wade that creek before I sleep. Roads are rocky and the hillsides muddy, Lord, I'm so drunk I can't stand steady.
Going up Crip Creek, going up the world, going up Crip Creek, see my girl.
Going up Crip Creek, going at the world, going up Crip Creek, see my girl. Creek, that half-grown, jump on the boy like a dog on a bone. Roads are rocky in the hillsides, muddy north. I'm so drunk I can't stand steady. I'm going up Crip Creek, going on the run, going up Crip Creek, have some fun.
Going up Crip Creek, going up the world, going up Crip Creek,
See my girl.
Good playing.
Well, folk music here. Let's take a look at your guitar. You've made this also. And maybe you can tell people about it.
Okay.
Ooh, boy.
Whoops,
That'll knock your eyes out there.
I better hold on to this. I'm twisted up on my microphone here. Some people will get onto me for this because this is made of a wood that is coming from the tropical rainforests. It's called cocobolo. It's similar to rosewood. It's a very reddish wood, and the finish on there turns it even redder than it is. When it was raw, it was a beautiful orange and black. Very, very nice looking wood.
Let's hold it just over a little bit more so we can get without the
you see that?
reflection here.
Okay,
Just
I'm
a
sorry.
little bit down. That's great, just like that.
And cocobolo wood is a very heavy, dense wood, which makes it a very bright sounding guitar. It's a very good wood to use for that, as is any of the rosewoods, which also come from Brazil, if you could still get it. It's a very resonant wood, but it's almost extinct now. Lately they've been making guitars out of maple. Well, mahogany is good, but that's coming from the rainforest, which is bad. Mahogany makes a very nice guitar. It makes a very mellow sound, almost a jazz tune. Fiddles, for instance, are made out of maple. They've been made out of maple for the last 300 years, or 400, or however long fiddles are being made.
That's got a real fancy binding around there. What is that material there?
This material here, the yellowish that you pick up, is ivory. Ivory, mind you. That's a plastic that looks like ivory. It actually has a grain to it, which I don't think you could pick up. You have to get quite close.
And then next to it is...
And next to it is a abalone shell.
Wow, it really sparkles.
Right, it almost looks gaudy at times, but I don't know. What was I saying earlier? Elegance, simplicity. Well, this breaks those rules.
Well, I like gaudy. I go for that.
Everything has its place, gaudiness too.
Yeah, and it's got all those fancy inlays up and down the fingerboard there.
And that's mother of pearl, up and down the fingerboard. On the first fret here is a pick. That doesn't belong there. This is what you call a dreadnought shape. However, this guitar is a 7/8, no, it's not 7/8, it's 15/16 size, which makes it about maybe 1 inch smaller than a full-size guitar, which does not pick up the full resonance that a lot of people like. Your guitar, for instance, has more of a resonance than this does. Mm-hmm. This might have a brighter sound when finger picking or when flat picking, because of the smaller size.
We went up to Mike's house and took a look at some of his other instruments as well. So why don't we cut away to that clip and go see what happened up at Mike's house.
How you doing?
Hi, Ralph. Come on in.
This is a neat place.
Thank you very much.
That's a cool stairway.
We're going upstairs.
banjo room. What do you play in the band? Mainly one instrument, or do you switch
No,
off?
I switch. We all switch off, so we all have a chance to play banjo, guitar, and banjo. That way everybody's happy, or nobody's happy, depending on which way you want to look at it.
Right.
So here's Lou playing one of your mandolins.
Boy, nice bite.
I love junk. I love rusty things, like this old nail. Oh, it's great. I love stuff like that. Except when it happens to a car, I hate it.
You want to show us this jig you got downstairs?
I'll go downstairs and look at it.
Check out the jig. So this is how you bend your wood. And it looks like you do half at a time.
I do one side, then the other side. And it's,
And you can modify and change the form as you see fit.
yes, I can. It's a very simple thing to do. It's obvious how it's made. Well, here's the form right here. Will fit in the form. The stainless steel fits over it. Heat up the form and clamp it in there. The form is heated by 3 light bulbs. Let's see inside. There's 3.
Sure. 200 watts.
200 watt, is that what I have there? 3 200 watt light bulbs, and they're timed with one of these timers
sure.
here that you use for your bathroom for turning on the vents. We'll leave the bulbs on for 10 minutes, put the wood in, the wood is wet, you put the wood in, clamp it all down, turn it on for another 10 minutes, turns off, you let it cool. You have to let it cool. If you take it out while it's hot, it'll spring back straight. They have to be cooled in that position. Now this is advantageous because it allows you exact curvature left and right side. And it eliminates some problems that we had with the older bending methods. The older bend, here, the traditional way is to use an iron, heated either electrically or by coal or gas or whatever, just a metal pipe that's hot. You wet the wood and you heat it over the pipe and you bend it. The heat does not bend the wood. The heat softens the wood. And you have to bend it and hold it until it's cool. This is my wife, Doris. And she is the one who does all these beautiful paintings that you see hanging on the wall.
This one is the Clinton Mill in Clinton.
So you've been painting for a long time.
Yeah, about 20 years, I guess.
You don't look like you could be that old.
I'm not really. This is just the second lifetime. This one is watercolor and collage. The oriental paper is right in this pinky area here, and the rest of it is all watercolor.
So you wove that.
Yes, this is one
Sweater
of my
yourself.
hand-woven items. I do mostly shawls and scarves. So I'm going in reverse. I started weaving, I started sewing, and then I went to weaving, and then I went to spinning, and now I'm going back to knitting.
Hi everybody, we're back with Mike Terris, banjo player and instrument maker extraordinaire. you've got a brochure that you've made, actually using your airbrushing and photography technique that you make a living from. Let's see what it looks like. It's pretty nice. I understand that logo took you between 10 and 15 years to make.
About 3 years. By the time I
3
first
years. It's only 3
started,
years. Okay.
and by the time I finished, because you work on it, you put it down, you work on it, you put it down, you work on it. Finally, you say, I got to get this
Oh,
thing
it's
done.
3 years.
3
Okay,
years.
I stand corrected. Also, at this time, we'd like to welcome anybody that would like to come on the show in the area that plays a musical instrument or sings or does anything special in a musical way, to contact Video on the Go, and you'll see at the credits at the end there'll be a phone number you can call or an address you can write to. And please call us to join us on the show. Okay, Mike, I think we have another tune to play.
Yep, before we go to that tune, let's make sure that anybody who wants to get in touch with Mike, if they're interested in, learning more about Mike's banjos or guitars or anything, what number can they contact you at?
My number is New Jersey 201-638-6561. 201-638-6561.
All right.
Great. How about some Beverly Hillbillies?
You want to kick it off, Mike?
Sure will. 1, 2.
Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting for some food. Up through the ground come a bubbling crew. Oil, that is, black coal, Texas tea. Oh, well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said California is the place you ought to be, so he loaded up his truck and he moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools and movie stars. Folks says it, you away from there. California is the place you ought to be. Loaded up his truck and he moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools and movie stars. Banjo.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed.
We'd like to kindly thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have the heaping helping of our hospitality.